The biggest struggle that a lot of people have in life, whether it's in their career and getting a promotion or a raise or trying to build their own business, is simply the ability to ask. I'm gonna give you two big examples in my own life, and I promise you, after this video is done, you're gonna have a way better understanding of maybe why you are not getting to the places that you wanna go to. In the example of my podcast, right? Closed mouths don't get fed. That's the concept of this video. If I thought I needed to get to a certain number of followers to reach the podcast guests that I've gotten, I would have never had a single guest on my show. I would have not grown on my X platform, and it would have not compounded. Why? Because I would have lied to myself and said and created this narrative that I need to continuously grow my following. I need to go viral. I need to have 1 million followers before I could ask for an individual to be a guest on my podcast, right? So I identified that fear, I identified the lie that I was making to myself, and I went and attacked it about a year ago when I had Anthony Pompliano on the podcast, and then I've been reaching out to a ton of people since then. Lie number one, I identified it, I faced my fears, and I feel like I'm pretty self-aware of this, and I've gotten past that. Now the second thing, right? When we talk about business, and I want it related to your own life, you are building relationships with different people. In the case, I'm gonna just keep it consistent with my story. With my podcast, I'm building relationships with individuals. One of the things that I've struggled with for the past year is actually activating those relationships. At the end of the day, I am trying to create a business. And if I cannot have the ability to put myself out there and ask for something in return, whether it's a service or a product that I'm offering to these individuals, then ultimately it's all a waste of my time, because I will keep going through that same scenario where I have guests after guests after guests, but nothing is actually really being done from a monetization standpoint and from a practicality standpoint. So the fear that I've identified is I would lie to myself and say, oh, well, I don't want to reach out to this person and tell them about a service that I'm offering because I don't want to come off as a leech, or, it may be too soon, right? Like I was telling myself a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, but it was the same story with actually getting the podcast guests that I was making with the services that I wanted to offer to these individuals. So the moral of this story, the most important thing is you have to ask, okay? You have to put yourself out there. You have to email people. You have to call people. You have to knock on doors. You will fail. You will get rejected. And that rejection part is a thing that, I feared, and the thing that's held me back. And I'm going to show you some real emails that I've received from that rejection piece. But I'm also going to show you the benefit of putting myself out there and why this is important, okay? So when it comes to the closed mouths don't get fed concept, look, you are going to get rejected. You're not going to shoot 100% from the field. Like Steph Curry is the best three-point shooter of all time, and even he misses three-pointers. So have an understanding of the real numbers. I'm going to show you some examples from this week, and I hope you get after it. If you guys feel like you get any value from these videos, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and share with a friend. And let me show you something real quick. Let's go. All right, so this is a prime example of putting yourself out there. I was offering a podcast booking bootcamp where I would show podcasters how to get A-list guests. This is the response that this guy gave me, but pretty much I was asking, all right, no, that's cool. I know you're not interested. Can I get some feedback? This is the feedback this guy gave me. So this guy, which I'm not going to show his email, went on to say, your first mistake was asking me for brutal honesty. I politely told you twice that I have zero interest and you keep interrupting me. You felt it was necessary to brag about the people you work with. I've never heard of them. So if you Google search my podcast, I have a bunch of credible people, but he really didn't. He had no credible people at all. And yeah, whatever. But long story short, this guy went on to just shit on my whole podcast, shit on everything that I do, and thought it was blasphemous or ridiculous for me to actually offer him help on his podcast. And he said, you're blocked, stop wasting my time. Look, the reason why I just showed you that is to show you the reality of the rejections that will happen. There's going to be some people like that are just going to shit on you for no reason. Maybe they're mad at their own life, whatever the case may be. But if you do not put the reps in, which is putting yourself out there, nothing will happen. This is the equivalent of you ChatGPTing how to get in shape, how to get muscular, but you don't do push-ups or pull-ups or squats. You're just doing the research on it. Same thing with business, same thing with getting a raise, same thing with getting a promotion. Closed mouths do not get fed, guys. Let's go.